Morning folks, I'm having one of them days. You know when, how would I put it? I've got 2 jobs to do that I kind of need to do, and I'm on my own, and so if they take 7 hours each, if I can do them in under 8 hours each, I'd be pleased about it. I'll have been doing well. Both kind of need daylight, and the suggestion, but they're 20 miles apart, the 2 jobs, and the suggestion being, well, can I just do both? No, man, what are you on about? It's just not possible. A bit frustrated today. Right, well, in light of the fact that I'm probably not going to get much filming done today, I'm just going to chuck these out there now, early on in the week. There's a couple of things that I've had a few questions about, and just let these guys get past. A couple of things I've had a few questions about, and I don't know I kind of do know what to do with them, but I'd prefer to ask opinion first. So the first one that I've been asked about is openings in between Christmas and New Year, and am I going to have like a ride off all the Christmas dinner opening, so to speak. Hang on a sec, I've got another person. A dog with no lead and a mobility scooter. 2 dogs, Jesus. Smile away, this is a road, dude. So I'm losing my train of bloody thought. There's that many things going on. So in between Christmas and New Year, you're all fat off the Christmas dinner, and probably ate the kids' chocolate and drank too much. And there's been some questions about, am I going to open up, find a day or a date in that time to open up. Christmas is on a Monday, I think. The second one, and this has come in kind of dribs and drabs, and 1 or 2 people asking about it, and I see where they're coming from. It's an interesting concept, so let's throw it out there and see what you guys think about it. There's been some questions asked about season tickets or year passes, where there's I suppose what they mean by that is they pay a price up front and then can just ride whenever they want. Now, the 2 people that I've messaged back about this for kind of clarity and further information about what they're looking for is the obvious part of, if you pay up front, then it's a massive saving and it's way cheaper, and you get loads of riding in for the year whenever you want. But for everything, so they're looking at being for weekend openings. Anytime I open on the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday for like the bank holidays and stuff. Anytime I do the evening sessions in the summer, they're all to be included, just like a one-off. Now, for me, that's got to be. It's got to be a bargain, hasn't it? You know, for somebody for it to be interesting and worthwhile doing. So it would have to be at a price that everybody was like, well, no, fair enough. I can get value out of that. So that'd be that's for me to think about. Obviously, I suppose what I'm asking for you guys to think about is that something that you'd want to do? Hold some sort of card that you, instead of paying, when you sign in, you just show the card. It's like, I'm prepaid for the year, for whenever you're open. Is that something that you want to do? If it is, and there's plenty of people that do want to do it, because it's quite a bit to set it up and everything and get it organised. If it's just the it's just like the half dozen or so that have inquired about it and messages about it, then maybe not worth it, I don't know. But if there's a few people want to do it, and they want to do like a full year pass where that's it, I suppose like almost like a gym membership, where, I don't know, we'd have to think it through, but where they're done, they pay and it's done, they can just come whenever we're open, and they don't have to pay when they get here. So hit me up on the normal places, in email, comments underneath here, Facebook private message. I read them all, so text messages even, man. It doesn't matter how you get back in touch with me, but if it's something that you're interested in, it would be really cool if you got in touch and I could get an idea of the kind of interest in it and see what's going from there. So yeah, hit us up. Morning folks. So I feel like there's going to be a bit of a theme developing throughout this video of me asking you questions, but hey, sometimes, you know, sometimes it's really helpful. It's really helpful to me, and it's really good to get your opinion as well and see what you think. So I asked a couple of questions yesterday. I do have one more for you. Last night I was talking to a chap about night riding. Now, night riding isn't something that I do. I was asked if I wanted to go on one, basically, and I was just talking about the kit and everything. It's something that I have done before. I've tried out before, but many moons ago, on when like probably pre-LED or early LED, and it just wasn't bright enough. But he was giving us a score, and obviously things have changed. But the surprise to me was prices have come down, and he was basically saying that you can get stuff that'll make the trail ahead of you look like daylight, like all these. Some of you guys will probably know better than me, but talking about all these thousands of lumens, and most of them are rechargeable via USB and stuff now, and they're not particularly dear. I did have a cheeky look on Amazon actually. They're not particularly dear. So one of the other things that came up was, how come you don't already do night riding at your place? I mean, we used to have the evening sessions in the summer, and then it gets to this time of year and they kind of stop because it's got dark. So is that something that you're interested in? I mean, I feel like it's something I'd want to try out. Again, doing a little bit of research last night, yeah, they do like, it does appear, I don't know what it's like in real life because again I haven't tried it, but it does appear to proper just light up the whole of the track in front of you. And my concern was always a bit kind of like safety wise on it. Is it a good idea to not really be able to see what you're doing? But if these lights are, if that's what this is, and you can just see everything, then, and then it's not like ridiculously expensive to get into, maybe it's something we should be trying. So what we're on now, like third question, is night riding something that you want to give a bash? And is it, you know, essentially, I mean, you know me, I've got loads of things on all the time. If it's not something that you want to do, I won't even investigate it. It doesn't, you know, screw it, it doesn't matter. Morning folks, it's Friday. It's time to go and do some Friday shit. That means track inspections, go and check some tape, make sure there's no weird logs or branches or anything across the tracks. Anyway, let's go and get that done now. I've got over to Double Down now. I kind of like to start at the furthest, just to give you some perspective of where we're at. Can you see in the background there a green sign? Maybe if I move you around a bit. That's over on the gap jump on GAP. Somewhere over there, it might not pick up, maybe the wheelbarrow does, is where I'm building our electric landlady. So we're kind of right in the middle of Double Down. But the crazy thing is, or the thing that's kind of mad to me, is it's been over the course of 5 days. I was here on Monday after a weekend riding, and everything that I'm standing on now was brown tracks. You could see clearly where all the tyres had been, and then just 5 days later, you have to spin you around, you get here, and this is what Double Down looks like. You can't even see any of the brown tracks anymore. It's just, you can see where the tracks are, but it's all just golden needles. It's pretty crazy. It's cool, but it's kind of mad that well, you can see it in all the trees actually. If I hold you up, you can see that everything's kind of just, apart from the very, very top ones, it's dumped its needles. As I've been driving up to the woods recently, and you get to look at the whole woods, not the whole woods as a whole, then you can see that everything has been kind of, everything's turned to like a golden colour, and then more recently everything's kind of dropped. We've still got the broadleaves down the bottom. Oh, I'm just getting rid of bits. This is essentially what I'm doing today. just getting rid of these. They're only, I mean, they're only like twigs and stuff, but they're going to stick in your jockey wheels. They're going to be a pain in the backside. It's all just stuff that we don't need. So this is generally what I do on a Friday, just walk through everything. I've got Joe Rogan in my ears, and just have a walk over the place. We'll do a bit of tape repair as well. I've moved over to Gasoline Alley, and this is always an interesting one to have a look at. I am down towards the bottom of the alley now. Well, I'm actually right at the bottom of the alleyway, but just to give you some idea of conditions. So this is still pretty dusty, to be honest. It's dry. I'll get you walked up the alleyway a little bit. So there is this covering of needles that we've got, and you know, I don't actually know what that's going to be like tyre wise. I think your tyres are pretty much going to cut through it. We'll just have a look. So once you cut through it though, it is pretty tacky. Anytime that you can form that dirt together just by pushing it is always a good thing. So you can see it leaves dirt on your hands, which is always good as well, rather than just like slop. It's dirt on your hands that you can then wipe on your jeans and rub away. I know this all sounds a little bit hippie, doesn't it, of being at one with the dirt, but it's a good way for me to check the conditions. If you put your hands down into this brown goop and you lift your hand out and it's still got brown goop on it, and you try and wipe it on your jeans, now your hand and your jeans have got brown goop on, then you're looking at wet conditions, not particularly good for riding. But if it's still if it's tacky enough to form, and it's tacky enough it's dry enough to wipe off, then you are looking at good conditions. So it's bro science. Okay folks, so I'm coming towards the end of the day and the end of this vlog, and now I've come to realise that over the course of this just short few minutes I've bombarded with you a bunch of do you wanna questions, which let's just take a second to clarify all of that, and rather than it be a bombardment, break them down. There's three main things that I'm asking for feedback on. Would you guys like to see me open between Christmas and New Year for a ride? That's one thing that might appeal to some people might want to get in touch about that, others don't care whether that happens or not. The second one being, do you guys want to do an annual subscription thing to the bike park where it's a one fee and you can come whenever we're open? Again, it'll appeal to some people. If it does, get in touch and give me some feedback on numbers. And the third thing being the night riding, which is something that I haven't honestly explored yet. So that's really asking you guys, do you want to do it? And if you do, then I'll explore it, which is kind of all three factors, to be honest. The riding in between Christmas and New Year, it's starting to, I don't know if you've noticed, but it's starting to snow these needles. The riding between Christmas and New Year is fairly easy. It'll be a weekday or a couple of weekdays ride. That's fairly straightforward. You tell me you want to do it and I do it. Simple. The annual subscription thing, the kind of like the season pass or whatever, year pass, whatever you want to decide to call it, or you guys suggest and I go, that's a good idea, I'll pinch that. Whatever you guys suggest, then we explore it and look into it and go at that. And it's the same with the night riding, but it seems like a bit of a shitty way for me to get out of it and be like, well, I don't know, I'll just ask you guys. But at the same time, it makes a lot of sense. I'm not 100% sure, so why not ask the people that it involves? You seem to be, to me that seems to be the most straightforward thing to do. Just ask you guys and see what you think about it. Anyway, I know I've asked a lot of questions, and I'm asking for your feedback and your time. And it's one thing to sit and watch a video, but it's a whole other thing to then type something to some messaging service or comments after it. So I appreciate that some of you might have some thoughts on this, but like, fuck this, next video. I know that's how it works, but it's worth the ask. Anyway, thanks very much for your time. I'm really looking forward to this weekend. I really like this time of year, and if you're riding at the weekend, have a great one. If you're coming up here, pop in the cabin and have the crack with us. And I'll see you soon and have a great weekend. Thanks for your time.